Holy cow, what a game we've seen. One day international cricket is truly well and alive in Sri Lanka. There's something about that little island nation and Asia Cups because they enter another Asia Cup final. And boy, it's not an India-Pakistan affair on Sunday, boys. It's India-Sri Lanka. My name's Avnish Idea, watching the match review with Nikhil Popan and Somesh Agarwal. Boys, let's just catch our breath back. I'm guessing all our pulse rates are high. What a game, Nikhil.
Nikhil is still frozen.
He's frozen. So, I'll start with you.
Yeah, man. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, it doesn't even seem like 2 hours past my bedtime. I mean, I'm so energetic, I can still be awake for 2 more hours. What a game. I mean, it just ebbed and flowed. I mean, at times I was wondering that how are Sri Lanka losing this? But then they ended up winning it. I mean, so good, yeah, so good.
Nikhil, what are your first thoughts now that you're unfrozen?
Long live ODI cricket. Long live ODI cricket. I've been harping about how this format gives you so much, so many ebbs and flows, so many moments where you feel, nah, this is done. It can't come back from here. And then Iftikhar has 3 wickets. Shanaga wants a batting promotion suddenly, and then they get a full toss wicket. Wow, crazy! I still can't fathom the last ball, but very apt and very deserving for Sri Lanka. Actually, just to make a note, Pakistan were without their main bowlers for one game. Sri Lanka were without their main bowlers for the entire tournament. It just tells you how well the unit came together to give them something to cherish for long. I mean, it's an incredible performance today. Incredible win.
Absolutely. Now, of course, lots of people are going to be watching this whenever you guys are, in the morning, in the afternoon, because this is one hell of a game. So we'll review it for you all in the chronological way. I think that's the best way to do it. But I want to start with that hullabaloo in the last 3 overs, so because 20 of 18, 12 of 12, then 8 of 6. And how did you feel that the game swung? You mentioned it, ebbs and flows. We looked at Crickletics in the cricket.com app as well. It was hard to call. It was always 49, 51%. How did you think Babar fared in that little test over there? Was it a real test for his captaincy? And do you think Pakistan could have actually brought it back in their favor?
See, actually, Pakistan did bring it back in their favor. It was never their game. It was always Sri Lanka's game to lose after the partnership between Kusal Mendes and Samara Vikrama. I'm pronouncing his name right. I think I am. So, yeah. So, it was Sri Lanka's game to lose. But I mean, kudos to Pakistan or mainly Shaheen Shah to bring them back in the game. I think in such situation you should always account for at least 1/4 of an edge. I was telling everyone here that edge ka ek chauka to aayega. So that happened. I didn't understand the tactic they were trying in the last ball because I just felt that a single was freely available. And as far as I am concerned, given this is a league game, I don't think there should be a super over. I'm not sure what the rules are, but as far as the logic goes, there shouldn't be a super over. If there wasn't a super over, then a tie would have been enough for Sri Lanka to qualify. So I don't understand what Babar was trying to do with the fields on the last ball.
Zaman Khan, I mean, you got a feel for him. He was just soaking up the sun in the Caribbean a while ago. Now he's bowling, literally it was in a do or die situation. And he did really well, Nikhil. I mean, he got a couple of dot balls in, and like Som said, that edge really bailed Sri Lanka out.
Yeah, and I mean that's the debate about bowling under pressure and playing your first game. I think he did the best that he could. Slightly surprised that he was held back so much. I felt he just bowled 3 overs, and there was a lot time that he was not even part of the plan. So
yeah,
something as Som said, something that Babar would have planned that okay, I only want to using at the end. Which is fair. That's where his strength lies. But it just one ball away. Just one ball away in that sense. So I think credit to Zaman. But in the overall scheme of things, I think Sri Lanka did a lot more things right, and which is why I think they were the deserved winners, if you want to call them that.
Absolutely. You know what I felt watching that game in the last couple of overs? Like just the fans in the RPS, Som, you look at all those women out there, all those men, those boys, those girls, they love cricket. And who would have thought, right? Before the Asia Cup started, Sri Lanka just kind of qualified into the main tournament, people not giving them a chance. no Lahiru Kumara, no Dushman Chamira, no Vadindo Hasaranga. And here they are. They have their love affair with the Asia Cup continuing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the point is, they are sort of identifying new players. That which is a very good thing. I mean, in an ideal situation, Samara Vikrama would not have made into the best 11. But here he is. He played an absolutely outstanding knock against Bangladesh to win that game, which sort of brought their net run rate in a position where they, I mean, even a washed out would have sort of put them in the final. And here today as well, he staged a very good partnership with Kusal Mendes, who himself has been playing spin so well throughout the tournament, which has been very difficult. I mean, if you look at how Sri Lankan players or Sri Lanka's middle order has played spin versus how Pakistan's middle order has gone against spin, especially in Sri Lanka, it has been chalk and cheese, and that is the result which effectively turned this game around.
And you talk about finding match winners. Kusal Mendes has also been just an amazing sort of player in this team, Nikhil Popat. I mean, he got a 92, he got a 50, and he got a 91 today. I mean, do you think he's your man of the match right now? Because there have been some good performance in this game. Is Kusal Mendes an outright winner?
Yeah, I think we'll want to do that. I think we'll definitely discuss about the toss and the pitch changing nature suddenly after the rain break. But just to add to Som's point, there are some times when you just feel that we're not seeing good quality spin, not good quality spin, but spin being milk around for fun. I think today was one such example where I felt the ease with which Sadira and Kusal Mendes were able to find the gaps without taking a lot of risk. It just made me feel very happy that wow, we still have this kind of batting left, which we don't often get to see because the run rates in T20 make you aim for the bigger shot. I think felt slightly unfortunate for Kusal to miss out on another turn, but more than a turn, he would have wanted to close the game out. I think that's where even Sadira would feel that third stumping in this Asia Cup. So that's where he'll feel okay. Maybe there was something that they should have closed the game out. But I think Kusal Mendes, right from the moment he came in, even that for the Kusal Pereira run out, I mean, when will people stop running risky singles in the power play? You're putting Shine Afridi under pressure with so many boundaries. What do you gain out of those risky singles? Even Patum Nisanka looks so good. So
Yeah.
I think good on Kusal Mendes to just make the most of his good form. And remember, we've talked about these two players in the LPL as well. I again go back to that point: runs under the belt, under pressure. When you've done that in the past very recently, it helps you decide better. So I think they really set the stone for Sri Lanka, and despite all the harakiri, they eventually found a way to get there.
I know the amazing thing is that every box has been ticked for them this Asia Cup. They've got their key players in form. They've actually got a real test of the pressure situations that they'll get in the World Cup as well. I think the only blemish so is Mahesh Theekshana, because I think he hobbled off. He has a hamstring injury. How big a blow is that, not just to Sunday's final, but dare I say going ahead for them?
Yeah, I mean, on paper it would be a very big blow. But then if, let's say, Hasaranga would have been fit, Velalage would not have been in the 11, and he has lit up this tournament. So the way in which Sri Lanka are unearthing talent, maybe an injury to Theekshana would be a blessing in disguise. Who knows? I mean, at this point of time.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing about Zaman Khan, because he nearly pulled it off for Pakistan, and kind of Pakistan would have seen another seamer just crop up. So like I said earlier, we'll start chronologically, even though we want to really dissect it right here, right now, in terms of this late night match review on cricket.com. Gurkirat Singh Gill, he's not in this preview, but he's in the comments, all right. He says, you talk a lot of run-outs, and I'm here, guys. Good to see you. Paji, I hope you're taking care of Akshay, who's also kind of visiting you up north. Sami Santosh, good to see you as well. Good morning, or wherever you are. When it's Pakistan versus Sri Lanka at World Cup, I'm coming in and bringing my boss, who doesn't understand cricket, follows American sports. I mostly want to tell him this is cricket, dude. I mean, great advertisement for the gate. Absolutely brilliant. And Shaunak Ghosh as well. Good to see you. Still believe Parker a very good side. If all, they have the still best fast bowling attack. Just need to improve spin department in middle order. Before we just pick the bones about the game, I just want to ask about Pakistan, because he brought it up right now. So before the tournament started, I think Mitch Marsh said, oh yeah, it's going to be an Australia-Pakistan one-day international World Cup final. And they were top of the rankings and all of that. But 2 weeks can change a lot. Do you still think that way? Or do you think Pakistan now are not contenders all of a sudden?
I mean, Mitchell Marsh का क्या बोलूं? Pakistan were my favorites to win this Asia Cup. So,
I didn't want to say that.
oh, that's a change. See, the point is, now we have to see how good. How will the pace attack sort of shape up? Will Naseem Shah be fit in time? Will Haris Rao be 100%? Because if one of them is out or both of them are sort of carrying a niggle or things like that, then it becomes a very different Pakistan 11, because the pace bowling attack is basically their engine room, so to speak. So, that is very important. If they are together and if all three of Shaheen, Naseem, and Haris Rauf are fit, I still believe Pakistan are a very good team. Uh, not a lot of teams who would have made a game out of this. Remember, it's Pakistan who somehow find the ways to either be in a situation where Sri Lanka are, where they are winning and all of a sudden they seem to cock things up, or the other way around, where the opposition seems sort of cruising along, or something happens where some reverse swing or some Yorker bring Pakistan back into the game. So I think there's still would be a tough side to reckon with come the World Cup.
Yeah, and the rubber, the green didn't actually go the way in terms of the results, but they started off winning the toss, Knicks. And I'll just, of course, alert the viewers and you once again for that thriller at the RPS. 252 playing 252. Of course, Sri Lanka getting the job done over the line, of course. It's 254. I think Vikas now realizes that the scorecard is absolutely horrific, so we'll change it. Never mind that. Knicks, so they won the toss. They bat first. We presume that it was Harris to open. It wasn't to be Abdullah Shafiq, 52. Talk to me about how you like Pakistan's start, and we'll throw plenty of stats along the way as well, including Velage now getting Babar as well, another top order batter. So he's got Babar, he's got Smith, he's got Maxwell, he's got Labuschagne, he's got Kohli, he's got KL, he's got Rohit. I mean, that boy can do wonders, except for tonight. So talk to me about Abdullah Shafiq first. And do you think he suddenly comes into the scheme of things? Because Fakar also today was a no-show.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting thing to keep an eye on how they go about it. Because see, Abdullah Shafiq is someone who, if you pair him with Imam, you feel that okay, you could get some proper classic and hit the gaps, a lot of boundaries early if they find that. And Abdullah did that, I think, to be very honest. The bowling, Madhushan definitely bowled a very good ball to Fakar and really set him up well. So there is a concern there. But I felt with Pathirana's first spell, you saw there were a lot of full balls that he was trying to get the ball to swing, and it helped Abdullah get those boundaries off, and you suddenly felt that okay, this could be a tricky one. But the moment Velalage came on, and there was a review that was not given, which you felt that okay, that it looked more out to me, but it did not. But the fact that he has a good compact technique to counter pace, and is decent with his spin. So I'm very keen to see whether because the thing is there is very less time. So whatever they decide, if at all, it has to be very quick in terms of how long do you persist with Fakar, because you don't want to change your opening combination just before the World Cup. There are no more games to play now for them. So I think they'll probably stick with Fakar, but they just wanted to see what they get from Abdullah. He did his job, made the most of it. I felt the pitch was far more trickier to start on. We saw that with Babar as well. The ball that Velalage bowled to him, to get him stumped right there just speaks a lot of quality, and it just goes back to the discussions prior that why we're all harping so much on Velalage being such a good bowler, because there is something that we feel that he could do a lot of damage for teams.
Listen, I want to talk about the rest of the Pakistan batters, because I know Mohammad Haris Soam was a fish out of water, batting slightly lower down. But that partnership, they were 130 for 5. I know the rain intervened and it maybe went in Pakistan's favor. But Mohammad Rizwan, he's having his career best average in terms of this calendar year, and hope that continues for him, at least from the ODI perspective. And then Iftikhar, brilliant knock from him as well. Talk to me about that partnership and what you think it did at the time to put Pakistan in such a commanding position, right?
Yeah, it definitely turned things in Pakistan's favor. Batting became visibly easy once the proceedings began. Maybe it was the moisture that quickened the tack up. Whatever science is behind that, I'm not very sure, but it definitely seemed easy. And both batters made it look easy. I was sort of wondering by the end of the innings that Sri Lanka underbowled DDS, but after the end of the game, I'm convinced that they underbowled DDS, because both Rizwan and Iftikhar were, the numbers suggest that they were sort of slowest against him. But after just 1-4 by Rizwan, he was just taken out of the attack. So that is something that I felt at that time. Uh, Iftikhar is a very, enigmatic cricketer, if I may say so. It doesn't give you the feel that he'll sort of do things that he ends up doing, like his knock against
Shardul.
India in the T20
He's like the
World Cup.
Shardul.
Yeah, he maybe he's like Shardul Thakur. His knock against India in the T20 World Cup, what he did today again, and then brought Pakistan or kept Pakistan in the game with the ball as well. So he's a very good cricketer to have. He would have been under pressure when South Shakil was included in this team, and even Aga Salman is essentially, I wouldn't say like for like, but he's also a lower middle order batter who can bowl off spin. So there must have been some pressure on Iftikhar as well. So he sort of it has sort of pushed him to perform for the team as well. So that has worked in his favor. But the main point is he's performing, and that partnership, like you said, though batting got easier, they attacked whoever came to bowl at that particular time. And at the halfway mark, I actually felt that Pakistan have enough to close this game.
Okay. By the way, Pranav did mention that point. Their pitch got so much better post range, which meant Pakistan got into relatively good total. It was a runner ball that Sri Lanka needed from word go. And by the way, Melville, Sohangi, Yash, good to see you guys. We'll take your comments. I'm pretty sure we will. We have some more time to, of course, go through them. Next, talk to me about that start, because I mentioned in the preview, when I saw Kusal Janith Pereira, it was just brilliant. And then it just gave me Wasim Akram Sana Jayasuriya vibes, right? That first couple of boundaries he hit and then run out, yeah. Like, are we going to see more of Pereira in the World Cup? I certainly hope so.
Yeah, actually, if you see, both teams changed their openers today, which is something very rare that you'd want to see before the World Cup game. But I think Kusal has always been an enticing prospect to have at the top of the order. And the way that he started, clipping Shaheen and then going over covers to Zaman, you felt that, okay, this guy could really set this game up. And it also just further made me convinced that, the pitch is definitely much, much better to bat on than what it seemed. I think just to add to Soham's point, if you look at the speeds also with which Shadab, Nawaz, and Iftikhar bowled, Iftikhar was considerably slower than the other two. And that's what they talked on air as well. How he was bowling in the late 70s, higher 80s as compared to the 90s, which the other two were, because Shadab also did get the ball to turn. Nawaz bowled a very economical spell up top. But it was the lack of control from the two main spinners that really just allowed Sri Lanka to just find gaps, because you saw how once Kusal went, Nissanka really just got into it. He got short void balls. He was able to slap them. He got a very good back foot punch. Then he got to the fence. So you kind of knew that there were so many boundaries being leaked that Pakistan always wanted to, like, let's try and get a few more wickets. And I think in that process, they probably allowed a few more boundary balls here and there. But I felt a lot of credit must go to the pair of Sadir and Kusal to really make it look very easy. I don't think we all saw this kind of finish the moment, like when those two were going so strong.
By the way, like we've mentioned there, Natika, most appearances in Asia Cup finals. Yep, Sri Lanka 10. This is including ODI and T20s, of course. And you can get lots of other stats on cricket.com right now. Check out the live blog. I think it's something really fancy to check out in terms of cricket viewing content. And yeah, Asni Ghana, thank you as well for tuning in late. It's people like y'all who really make our jobs much more satisfactory when we do these late night lives. And of course, seeing you guys in the comments. So I was going to take Yash's comment, which was, of course, Sri Lanka, they should have had a cakewalk. You mentioned it as well. How the hell was Sri Lanka going to lose this match? But in fact, I'm going to talk about Pakistan spinners, not just today, but in the Asia Cup, and how worrisome that is. Iftikhar has got 4 wickets, more than Shadab and Nawaz combined. That's ridiculous.
Actually, I lost your voice in the middle.
Oh.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Basically, how woeful Pakistan spinners are.
I mean, it's not just woeful; it's non-existent. Because Nawaz is like in and out. Shadab against. I mean, see, we keep talking about some batters who perform against lower teams, but at times we just forget about the bowlers. if you look at Shadab's numbers against some of the lower ranking sides and compare his numbers against sides that are slightly higher in the ranking, it's very different. So that is where I think Pakistan's we've done a few features on this as well on our site. It's a non-existent spin attack at the moment, though Iftikhar has contributed a lot to ensure that there is still something out there. Uh, Initially, yeah, Shadab did take that first wicket, but after that, I mean, there was nothing really in it. I mean, the point is, let's say, when we're talking about a team like Netherlands, we know for sure that if they come across Thiksena and Hassan, they'll struggle because it's a kind of spin that they are not used to. But the same cannot be said about when they play Pakistan. It's not the spin attack that they will be actually worried about, because they'll feel that this is a kind of a spin attack that we also sort of face back in our backyard. So that is the sort of vibes that Pakistan spin attack is giving at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah,
One
also
other man. Go on.
just to add to that point, Somesh, do you think it would not add, sorry, just to question, do you feel it will help other teams now plan better versus Pakistan, that because the spin problems are so much, they'll probably not look to attack the pacers early, so that it just makes them think a lot more that now do we need a seventh bowler also, and who is that bowler, and then how do we get those wickets? Because then I think if the pressure is off the people of the openers to attack the new ball pace, they'll want to play them out and say that okay, we don't mind being 40 for no loss at 10 overs mark, but we'll go that much harder versus spin. Do you think it is a possibility?
Absolutely. And also, if you look at Shaheen Shafridi, historically, he's not someone who keeps it tight. He takes wickets, but he's equally hittable because he's always targeting those full length balls. So there are options in this Pakistan pace bowling attack as a whole where you can score some runs off. So that is something that is sort of, I don't want to use the word exposed, but it is being highlighted that, after watching Pakistan in a few games, you sort of understand that whatever seems very difficult in a T20 format, where the time is less and you sort of need to attack a lot more, in ODIs you can plan against them a lot better. And this is where they helped themselves in the T20 World Cup, where they added a fourth pacer, so that at least run scoring was difficult for 16 overs.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes you think. And lots of people right now just jumping in the comments and saying things like this. And I don't know whether you boys agree with them or not, because look, the Asia Cup only serves as a precursor to the World Cup, and you can only beat what's in front of you. This is, I'm guessing, tomorrow morning across the border, the papers won't read so well, Nikhil. I'm guessing if it's not an India-Pakistan final, Pakistan fans will be like, how the hell have they cocked it up? So who's answerable? Who's going to be making the scapegoat? Talk to me about the repercussions in the morning.
See, I think they'll have that the insight, of course, that this wasn't probably their preferred or even close to their full strength 11. So I think that is something that they'll definitely acknowledge. And the fact that Sri Lanka were a side that was coming on a roll, it just told you that Pakistan had to be on their A game and take wickets with pace. Now, it's something that we've discussed in every single Pakistan game, that if the early pacers don't strike, they have a problem. And that is something that was highlighted. I think this will just, substantiate it a lot more, that I'm sure there will be a lot of talk about why did we not pick Abrar? Could you have given a few games to Osama Mir and see if he's fine? But the thing is, it's not sudden that you're seeing these two not do well. They have been part of the side for a reason. And again, it's one of those things about preparing for the World Cup, that who are you playing, where are you playing, how many other options have you tried as a backup options for them. So I think that is something that will be discussed. I'm sure Fakhar's form will also be discussed. Somewhere, I don't know, there will be some talk about Babar's captaincy, but because I feel that there are a lot of times where you feel that, okay, this is slightly weird. Okay, this feels different. Of course, they'll have their own plans, but I think there is a lot of scope there in terms of maybe being a bit more proactive, or maybe he's too aware of the fallings that he just wants to try and sometimes just hide those as much as he can, and in that process just ends up getting or somewhere here or there. Because at no point of time would you say today that Iftikhar Ahmed would bowl all eight. I'm just glad it worked out for them that he was able to come out with 3 wickets, because otherwise it would have looked even more horrific had they won by a bigger margin.
Yeah. Som, do you agree with Nick Hills? I say Nick Hills because both have made their points here.
So actually, the point is, the impression that we get from the outside is at times it feels like Babar is not in charge. Because even today, even the last few balls, there's a lot of gathering happening around the bowler. And it's
And
not
he's taken
always.
that review. Sorry, but he's taken that review, which is the worst ever mankind has seen, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, see, I mean, वो तो क्या घर लेके तो जाएगा नहीं, so he has to use it or lose it. So I mean, that's fine. But even on the hat trick ball, there was Mohammad Wasim and Shadab talking to Shaheen Shah, and I'm wondering, this guy is on a hat trick. He is your spearhead. What do you have to talk to him about? He knows what he's doing. And that is something, I mean, it doesn't give me a good vibe. I mean, there's a captain out there. If anyone who should be speaking to Shaheen Shah, it should be Babar at that time. And even in the end, it felt like Babar sort of gave Zaman Khan the freedom to choose his own field. And he was not convinced by it. By the way it ended, he was like, this was not done. So maybe, I don't know, that balance is missing. There are certain bowlers who you can trust that how they can set their own fields. But a bowler who's playing in a big tournament, in a must game for you for the first time, maybe you have to be a little more proactive. And that is something, at least when you watch from the outside, is sort of missing. And this is where questions around Babar's captaincy keep popping up.
Not just his captaincy, but I think people are taking to his batting as well, Nix, because Arsenic Gunner is saying, is Babar a flat track bully? Haven't seen him deliver in the crunch games. You mentioned the ball that Bellalagi got him out, and it was a peach of a ball. But even prior to that, and I know he's a great batter and he's just been throughout form in his entire existence, but can we cut him some slack as a batter, or do you think the daggers are rightly thrown?
See, when you set standards so high for yourself, even 40s are not enough for legends. For one of the best ever players to have played the ODI cricket, we felt like Erika 40 marra khali. So when you don't, and when you are the best batter of the side, there is that much more pressure on you to be able to keep doing it consistently, which I don't think is fair also, because you are also human. You are not going to always get going, and also you are batting at the top of the order where things haven't been that easy. The ball that Hardik bowled to him was a good one. I don't think he could have done much wrong. He could have done something else there. Similarly, today he got beaten by a very, very good ball. So, and it's only against India that he doesn't have a 50 yet and a slightly lower average. But against other sides, he's had his time and he's done well. I think if the pressure is lesser on him, maybe he'll find a better way to succeed, because his pairing with Imam has been very good for Pakistan, and whenever they've done well, it's looked like those two have really set it up for them. So I think the expectations are high of him. So maybe if these runs keep coming from Iftikhar and Rizwan, maybe the pressure will slightly ease off on him. That okay, I can bat at my pace and I don't have to worry about being there till the end, because there are people who are doing it. So maybe a collective effort from there could just help Babar the batter too.
Yeah, let's see where this story goes forward for Pakistan, because obviously they head back home now, and it's going to be an India-Sri Lanka final. And by the way, lots of you in the comments, thank you so much. It's been a fantastic game, and it's been a fantastic review because we've picked the bones out of it. We're just going to take some comments and then end proceedings.
So, Nikhil's comment is actually very important about teams playing largely at home. Something similar that we discussed with Bangladesh. The point is, if your home track are not representative of the tracks that you're going to get when you're going to travel outside your country, your batting is always going to struggle. And it's not like India have nailed it. India in Test cricket face the similar issue. And that is why you see even on flat wickets, batters are not used to playing that long innings. And I think, which is somewhat true with Pakistan as well. I don't really feel that Babar is a flat track bully. I mean, it would be very, it is not a right assessment to make.
Yeah.
It's good for Pakistan that Babar is failing, because you can't always expect him to fire. I mean, you can't win a World Cup with just Babar in form. You need other batters to chip in. So that is also very important. I mean, at the end of the day, 25 years down the line, people will remember the World Cup. A lot many might not remember this Asia Cup. So that is the bigger prize here. If this tournament can be taken to sort of smoother along the edges, it will be better. But yeah, I really feel this. I mean, I don't know. A lot has been will be done about this, but there should be. I mean, teams who want to succeed at the global level should look at their tracks at home and try to make them somewhat representative of the global standards at large.
Nikhil
Yeah,
going on to
and
say Lahore and Rawalpindi, absolute motorways where
yeah,
Babar and Fakhr scored heavily, chase 350, etc. And then Pranam
yeah.
Anand also going to say before the game it was clear Park was weaker in my opinion, and Sri Lanka's best batter in that period.
I think he's saying middle order more
Oh,
than
middle order.
yeah,
Sorry, middle order.
yeah,
That's how I was like, it's not an IO move for sure. In the
And
middle
how
order,
can we
he
not
did
talk
have.
about Sri Lanka? Why? We
Yeah,
have to
that's
talk
what
about
I was
Sri
coming
Lanka.
in.
I think he
Yeah,
is
go on,
he has
Nikhil.
the most number of runs. I think we discussed this in the previous well. He is batting at 5. He's scored over 1,000 runs now at a very good rate and a very decent. And it's about how he looks at the wicket, what are his options, and that's those choices just tell you that he's a natural middle order batter, which is good for some sides who try and fit top order batters into middle order roles. But hopefully those days are gone now. So you need that. Sorry, that one was for India. You need that kind of a player to just express, and it's what we saw, right? The calmness. I still don't agree with him taking single with the 9 needed in 6. With 8 needed in 6, and he's giving the strike to Madhushan. I felt, oh, okay, maybe there is some plan there, some confidence there, which is good because you don't mind. You still had a few wickets to play around with, but he's someone who we've talked about in the past with no Rajapaksha, and the top order not always clicking because in this tournament, Nisanka Dimuth haven't like fired, but it's been him, uh, slight contribution from DDS, and majoritively Sadira and Kusal who've done the job in terms of doing the bulk of the scoring. So in that sense, very good position for Sri Lanka to have. Uh, Hopefully they can find the right spot for DDS as well. I felt can definitely bat towards Sanaka at times, but again, that's something to discuss for later.
Yeah, I actually wanted to pick Nikhil's mind on this. I mean, when it happened, I did not agree with it. A batters of
Yeah.
DDS's caliber should be batting above Shanaka, but that
Yeah,
didn't
I think
happen.
my only bit there is I think they've decided that Velalage and DDS will be their finishers. And in that regard, maybe they sent Shanaka or Shanaka promoted himself to try and close the game out because I definitely felt that he's not someone who's going to rotate for long. He will look to take the game on, maybe hit a couple of sixes, get the rate down, and it's okay if he gets out in that process because you still have the luxury of a Velalage and a DDS at the back, which
Hmm.
I don't know. It sounds fair, but Shanaka's runs haven't come. But
Yeah,
again, he'll play India, so he'll get runs there.
but Arshal Patel तो है नहीं ना.
क्या पता? Hopefully कुलदीप को खेले तो रन नहीं बनाएगा, पर पता नहीं. With Shanaka in India, you can never rule. We'll always find a new hero.
By the way, Mohammad Irfan saying Sri Lanka be like a joker and Batman. He's always smiling, fielding, and bowling. I'll tell you what, like Som said, it was super important that he kept his cool because Shanaka, for a second, he went for that waft and he threw his wicket away, and it was just really,
You know,
really terrible.
of all the careers I've ruined in this Asia Cup, Sri Lanka is the only surviving member of the predictions that I made.
Seriously, honestly, seriously. By the way, Arsenic Gunner, good question, but we will answer it, of course, all of this in tomorrow's preview when we, of course, talk about India, Bangladesh, or in Sunday's preview. Or should we do it for him nicely now, boys, quickly? From a Sri Lanka perspective, I think he's asking.
Of course.
That's the biggest threat for India in the final.
No, because sometimes it's the own team management which is the biggest threat.
I think the question should be who is the second biggest threat, because first is sort of obvious, at least in my eyes. It's going to be Velalage again with a bunch of righties. We're not even sure if Kishan will keep his spot or not after a knock, which a lot of people might not be convinced with. So let's see. Yeah.
Let's see. I think we are also expecting 4-5 changes tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
From
yeah.
what you read. Yeah. So let's see what the plans are. The threat, I think India will back themselves to learn from those mistakes in the previous encounter against Sri Lanka, and the pitch again will be critical. I felt because even today you saw two completely different behaving pitches, and that's a very big thing to counter immediately. I think credit to Pakistan in that sense that they were quickly able to assess that this pitch it has got better to bat. We need to really go harder. And you saw that in the intent that Iftikhar and Rizwan had. So I think that is something that I'll hope India will be able to do as well in terms of adapting quickly to conditions if they change at all.
Okay, let's see how it goes. Another Asia Cup and another non-India Pakistan final. But
Yeah.
don't we love it, honestly? I don't know why I get questioned because this person is going to say, why am I getting a feeling you were neutral and you didn't want... Look, I was watching that game, and as an anchor, I was preparing for both situations. What I would say if India-Pakistan would be the final, what I would say India-Sri Lanka would be. So you know what I'd said. And, of course, you can join us tomorrow for the preview, India-Bangladesh. It'll be, of course, 3 of us again, or does Gurkira join us? I don't know. I need to just check the roster. I think I'm there, but I could be wrong.
I don't think you are there. You are on a break.
Oh, damn.
I don't know
Oh,
why,
shit,
but
damn.
yes.
Okay, fine. Maybe I'll make a special appearance. Let's see. Let's see.
So
how
he's
it
then
goes.
he's then a Chanaka here.
Or let me know. If that's the case, I'll stop my break.
All right, done. Melville, Nikhil, honestly, all you guys really appreciate your questions, but we are sorry. It's 1:43. We've gone 6 minutes overboard. But join us tomorrow. We'll, of course, keep your questions coming through. And Chetan, if you're new, please subscribe. We've spoken about all of this. You can check it out in this by rewinding it and check out other things on cricket.com. It's a fantastic platform. That's all we have. Goodbye from us and great win for Sri Lanka. Let's see what they do in the final against India.